Cassette Community. It's been about a month since I made a cassette video, and I have no excuse. What's going on, Vinyl Community? Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, it's Saturday night. It's been a long day, long weekend. Thought I'd unwind with the Vinyl Community. Little Bad Company. What an awesome album. Commercial is all hell, and every time I put it on, I remember just how great it is. This is unbelievable. One everyone should own. But anyways, more than that, I wanted to pull out another stack of some recent, some rare, and some cassettes I've had in my collection for a long time, and just keep sharing them. You know, Pudgy, Greeno, American Music Pickers, everybody's been doing, a great job, those that are getting into the cassettes and showing them off. So I wanted to show a few more and see if we can't keep it going. First, I wanted to start by saying a big thank you to Vinyl Community member E.L. Peter, 1978. And Peter, who's over in the Netherlands, watched my first cassette video, sent me a message and told me he wanted to send me a couple cassettes. And they are here. So Peter, thank you. I know I've already sent you a personal message, but these are just awesome. What Peter sent first was Whitesnake's Slip of the Tongue. What's cool about this is, of course, the different pressing. So as far as US goes, hopefully you can see this in the lights okay. Let me adjust it a little. Here we go. We have European press from the Netherlands or Germany. It looks like Germany from the writing on the label. But definitely very cool. And I love seeing cassettes from different parts of the country and different parts of the world rather than country, different countries. So here is Whitesnake's Slip of the Tongue. Looks to be a German press. That was very cool. Thank you, Peter. And second is, I guess it's called Baton, would be the correct pronunciation here. And it's 25 Fantastische Haargruppen. I hope I didn't murder that. And I'm guessing, if this came from you, Peter, that's Dutch. So some stuff that kind of immediately sticks out is the recessed lip, which is not common at all for US releases or US cassettes. Even the textured back is different. And we open it up, so we have just a tremendous song set. I love that it's an older cream-colored cassette. And here we have 1979 CBS Grammophon Platinum, made in Holland. Okay, so it's a Holland pressing. And this was, again, just a seriously cool mix of songs. We have things like Aerosmith, Blue Oyster Cult with Godzilla, Styx, Boston, Journey, Frank Marino, Mother's Finest, Ted Nugent, Judas Priest, Molly Hatchet, The Tubes, Meatloaf, REO Speedwagon, Kansas, Cheap Trick. Really just a who's who of hard rock and stadium or AOR at the time. I thought this was really, really neat. This I have as a US press. I'm happy to now have it as a German press, which again, I'm hoping that's right. It looks German on the label. It doesn't say where it was made. So that's my guess. And the Holland Baton. These are just two very cool and cassettes. Peter, I'll put them on my shelf, and I really do appreciate it. It was very cool. Thank you so much. So here's some stuff that I wanted to share with you. I'm going to show you some recent and, again, rarer finds, stuff I've had in my collection. And I also want to share my AC/DC cassette collection, which is in this case. So let's start there. Open this up. Who doesn't remember having one of these? This is what you threw in your car, or I did in high school. CD players weren't in all cars yet at that point. I hit high school in 1989. And of course I didn't have a car, my first Camaro, until 92. And it was just cassettes in the back seat because it was an 84 Camaro. I don't know if it was an IROC or a Z28, I forget. I had a few. So here is most all of my AC/DC collection, save for a few which won't fit in here, and I'll show it to you. So real quick, and these are all standard US releases, so maybe for folks here in the US it's not as interesting. Or maybe it is, but let's check it out. So here is High Voltage. Not a whole lot to show when it comes to cassettes. Here's Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. Let There Be Rock, one of my absolute favorite AC/DC albums. If You Want Blood, You've Got It. Power Age. Probably not one of my favorites. Still a good album. AC/DC really has never put out a bad album. Here's the tenor, Highway to Hell. Definitely a reissue or a repress on a clear cassette. And that's one of the cool little things you can find about cassettes, you know what I mean? It's easy to say there's nothing about them, but it's not always true. Back in black. You know, like you see with the cassettes Peter sent me, or the clear press here of Highway to Hell, there's definitely some cool little stuff to be found there. Let's see, for those about to rock, we salute you. Another brilliantly amazing AC/DC album. Flick of the Switch, I have to defend as being a really good AC/DC album. I really, really like this album a lot. It's got some great tracks on it. 74 Jailbreak, which sequentially did follow Flick of the Switch. It was recorded in 74. Fantastic early stuff. Here's Fly on the Wall. AC/DC starting to hit a bit of a downward slide. But again, it's one of those, you know, a great band turns in a good album. It's still a great album, especially if other bands would strive to achieve that. AC/DC's Who Made Who. This is a great cassette. Not as good as the next one which followed it. Some rehash material here. Blow Up Your Video. This was one of my favorites in middle school. This was 1988, so that puts me right around 8th grade, and I absolutely loved and listened to the same cassette over and over. Had that one for a long time. Here's the Razor's Edge. This one blew up for me early in high school. Fantastic cassette. The Razor's Edge is one of their best songs. AC/DC's Live. This sounds amazing. I have no excuse for not owning this on vinyl at this point. It's floating around eBay rather inexpensively. I really need to pick it up. That empties this case out, but I do have a couple more to show you. First we have Ball Breaker, and this is the first AC/DC cassette with their original drummer back on board, and you can definitely hear a difference. This is from 1995. I think their original drummer had some big fallout with Malcolm Young or something at some point. And I know I showed that in Stiff Upper Lip in my first cassette video, but just to show from my AC/DC collection. I like this one because cassettes were fading out around 2000, and it has the logo screen printed right on the tape, or however they printed it. That's my AC/DC cassette collection. And here's some other stuff that I've found and picked up lately. I found David Bowie's Sound in Vision. These were Goodwill finds, so 50 cents a piece, so $1.50 for the collection. Sound in Vision is kind of just a trip through David Bowie's entire catalog. All sorts of different stuff from his different albums, from his different periods. So here's Sound in Vision 3. Really, really nicely done set. I have this on CD as well. So you have stuff from his early periods, Aladdin Sane, all the way up through his Berlin trilogy, which are my favorites. Really well done artwork, really well done cassettes. It's pretty, I was gonna say it's pretty easy to listen to them all, but it's a lot of Bowie to digest at one point, even for a fan, to be completely honest with you, and I really love Bowie. But just really well done artwork. With the CDs, there's a big booklet that comes with them. That's just very, very cool stuff. And I'll go ahead and show you the last one. This is Sound in Vision 1. This was a really, really nice set. I mean, especially for $1.50. It couldn't go wrong. I already had it on CD, but for some reason I just wanted to have it on cassette as well. And I've definitely never seen it on vinyl. Here we have Jackal's first album. Jackal, of course, is famous for playing a chainsaw solo in concert. I don't know that anyone else has ever done that, and I know they've been asked, why did you play a chainsaw? And their response infamously was, why wouldn't you? I think this was banned at Kmart when it was first released. Let's flip the record over. Here's Kicks, Cool Kids. This is from, what, 1983. 1983, early Kicks. Kicks isn't a bad band as far as hair metal goes, or as it always gets dubbed around here, crotch rock. But, of course, some of my favorite stuff in early Kicks is really good stuff. I guess I need to replace this. Oh well. Some fireworks going off outside. Here's Coverdale Page. This is a BMG Music Club release. This was a really, really great cassette. I had this back in the day. I want to say on CD. Fantastic stuff. Man, those fireworks are loud. Here's a really, really nice looking copy of Pink Floyd's The Wall. I've had this on cassette, and I think I had it on a cream colored cassette, I believe. This one is a clear cassette. And of course, what needs to be said about The Wall, other than it's an absolute must-have. One of my, if not my perfect 10 album of all time. Just essential. Although not in any format. A couple of Whitesnake ones. Here's Saints and Sinners. This is an earlier album from Whitesnake, early 80s, 1982. This is most infamous for having the original version of Here I Go Again, which sounds much different than the version that had Tawny Katane crawling all over the hood of their car and blew up MTV in 1987. Fantastic release if you're a Whitesnake fan. And here is Whitesnake's Live in the Heart of the City. Of course, a live recording, clear cassette. Photo of the band. Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. I didn't find this one until much, much later in life on vinyl. Excuse me, and only recently cassette. I think I have dust in my throat from mowing the lawn today. And the lawnmower broke, so it's been a heck of a day. Here's Yes, Big Generator. This is pretty recent. I've only seen this around once. I want to say this was maybe a few months ago, from 1987. So I grabbed this without hesitation. I don't have this on vinyl. I have all of Yes's albums on vinyl up until sometime in the 80s. I don't have that one. Lynch Mob's Wicked Sensation. Again with the landscape artwork instead of standard portrait. This is one of the Digalog or Digilog releases. Again, a clear cassette. And of course, this is George Lynch, the guitarist for Dokken. You know we're getting towards the 90s now because we're getting very elaborate, long fold-out cards. The trick with these is finding them intact because they're perforated, so they'll fold, and a lot of them have just been beaten, abused, my own included, and they start to fall apart and you find them with tape on them. So this is Wicked Sensation, which makes it their second release, which means Dokken's drummer is no longer with them, just George Lynch. Still fantastic shredder. Here's another great later release from a great band, LA Guns. This is Hollywood Vampires. Hollywood Vampires sounds a lot more produced than their first couple of releases, and this is actually, maybe sacrilegiously, my favorite LA Guns release. You can hear quite a few times in here they try to reach for that Ballad of Jane, trying to recapture that lightning in a bottle, but it's actually a rock solid release. I'd love to find that on vinyl. Here's another one, I don't know, and this is the last one if it even exists on vinyl. This is Frampton Comes Alive 2. I found this a few months ago. It's from 1995. Clear cassette. And I was looking at the song list. Excuse me. And I want to say there's nothing on here, if memory serves, that was on Frampton Comes Alive, which is one of my favorite live albums. It's just amazing. Except for the overplayed crap on the radio. But I was really surprised when I grabbed this, probably for all of 50 cents, and I played it. The production was stunning, and the songs were just amazing. And if you're a fan of Frampton's guitar tone, enough said, it's definitely a keeper. One to grab, find, pick it up if you can on CD or cassette. I don't know if it's out on vinyl, I really haven't looked, but I guess I should. So that is my second entry into the cassette community. I hope everyone else that's participating and throwing some cassettes up there keeps doing so. Sorry I've been so late making another video, but some more stuff coming. Like I said, a 70s rock update, some obscure stuff that doesn't get shown often, if at all, I want to chat about. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.